Okay, so here's how you optimize images for the web. I have Photoshop open, and I'm going to open up the image that, oh, actually, I guess I first have to find the image that he gave me. Okay, so I'm going to look at this one here. Here is the image that Kyle has attached. So I'm just going to go ahead and save link as Adobe stock, and then I'm going to come over here and put it in the Wealth Hunters Dropbox under original images. Hit save. Okay, it's downloaded. So now that it's downloaded, I'm going to open it up in Photoshop. And again, we're looking under Wealth Hunters Dropbox original images. We've got that one right here. So we're going to open it. Okay. First question is, how big is it? So this is step one. Step one is sizing it to the right size. So this is supposed to be a banner image. And based on our office standards for banner images, we are. This doesn't look to me like it needs to be art directed, so we're just going to make it a full-size image that's 1920 by 700. And yeah. Okay, so 1920 by 700. So I'm going to come back over here to Photoshop, and we're going to look at the size. So image size. Okay, it's 300 dpi, that's the resolution, or pixels per inch, 300 pixels per inch. So I'm going to change that to 72. So that's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is to change the width to 1920. And so you can see it's 1920 by 1280 at 72 dpi. That is so that's where we're going to start here. Say okay to that. And then now that we have that, we've got to get it down to 1920 by 700. So I'm going to use the crop image feature. And I'm probably just going to look at cropping it kind of halfway. Okay, 740. I don't know, what would happen? What would it look like if I brought it just down like this to 700? Okay, there's 700. Let's see that we can just, whoops, not that. We can just, I guess we can. We can just move the image around till it gets to what we want. And I guess, you know, this is probably good enough. Something like that. Crop it down. Okay, so there's the, that's step one completed. Okay, step two then is going to come over here and we're going to say File. And you can use whichever tool you're comfortable with for optimizing images for the web, because obviously Photoshop has more than one, but I'm going to use the Export and then Save for Web Legacy. Okay, and I have mine set up to show me 4 different types of images. Yours might come up just like this, but you can just come over to the 4 up so you can see what's going on there. And right now it's set at a PNG 8, as if that might be the optimum. And if we did it at a PNG 8 with 64 colors, we're looking at 64 colors. We're looking at 329K, which is way, 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 way too big. And actually, this image probably isn't really this image, because of its color variation and everything, is probably more appropriate as a JPEG. So we come over here to JPEG. And if we start off at, oh, it's going down to a quality of 2. My feeling is that's going to be, that's not going to work. And you can see how distorted the yellow is here. So here's, I mean, it's down to 90.84K, which is just about what you're trying for, but obviously the color just doesn't work here. So we're not going to, I mean, it's not a high enough quality, right? We've got all kinds of funny stuff happening around the letters and that kind of stuff. So we don't want to use quality of 2, but let's try quality of 10. That's a typical, and 10 still doesn't do it. You can still see what 10 looks like. It's still really lousy around the letters. This is probably the place that it's going to be the worst, so we'll just leave it there. And we'll go to a JPEG medium and see how close we get. So a JPEG medium gives us a quality of 30. And that's pretty good. This kind of image, you really just kind of want to look around and see whether or not we have distortions that make it look crummy or not. Yeah, see, this is still the worst place. And I think that looks fine. So you can see what it looks like. JPEG 30 quality, it's going to be 182K, which is about twice what we want it to be. But unfortunately, because it is just the way the image is formatted, we're not going to be able to get down to an attractive image down below 182K. Now, one of the things we can do is we can reduce this in size by adding some blur to it. If we take it to 98 or 0.98, you can see it went down to 142.9. You know, that blur in particular is not going to really matter. I mean, I guess the thing to do with this really now is just to see what it looks like if we save it at that. So we're going to save it at a quality of 30, but we've increased the blur to, well, let's just increase the blur to 1, just to, okay, so it's not as crisp. I'm not quite sure that matters that much there. If that crispness matters, then you're going to take the blur down to 0, right? Blur down to 0 takes it up to 235K, or 239K. So you can see that blurring reduces the image size somewhat. Let's just take it to 1. And so that was step 2, that is choosing the right image. You can see what the Ping 8 looks like here with 32 colors. It's 216, so it gets close, but it doesn't look, I don't think it looks as good there. And the Ping 8 with 64 is 424. And this is just not the kind of image that looks good in a GIF, so we don't even have to bother with it. GIF is a good choice if you have, like, I don't know, two colors. If it's red and white, or if it's, you know, I mean, if it's very limited colors with very little color variation. So cartoony kind of images often work quite nicely in GIFs. But anyway, that looks good. So we picked it, the image type, and we've picked the okay, let's just look at this as a GIF. So if I've clicked on this one over here and I come over here and I say, let's look at a GIF. And let's take it to 64 colors. Well, you can see it doesn't look nearly as good, right, at 64 colors. I mean, it's nice and crisp, but it's almost 400K. The Ping 8 is much cleaner looking, and it's at 424K, or the JPEG is 142K. And I don't know. I guess that does bother me. Let's take it down to 5 and see what happens. 176K at 5. I think that's okay there. So this is the one we're going to choose. We're going to hit save. Now, presumably, we have been told what our image names are supposed to be. So I'm going to come over here again under Wealth Hunters, Dropbox, Website Design, Design Images. And I've got this Cornerstone Images Optimized because this is a Cornerstone image. And then this is the credit education one. So I'm just going to replace this credit education banner. Note the name, credit education, that was the name we were given. Banner is the type of image it is, and Wealth Hunters is the follows after all of them. So we hit save. And obviously it's replacing it, so we hit replace. And that's how you optimize an image like this.